And happy 11/11. You are next. I didn't wait till 11/11 to start because I never would have finished these. So your cards are already shuffled. I'm going to cut them in front of you, so to speak. Okay, first card. This is what covers you. This sums up your overall situation. Ooh, all right, I'm sorry. So, your overall situation, you are going through a troubling time. It hurts almost physically, like in your heart. Some type of a loss or sorrow. Now, while that pain is yours to bear and no one can carry it for you, and they can't make it feel any better, the one thing that you need to remember to take solace in is you do have protection, and you've got the wisdom of those who have experienced it before you. Draw on those resources, the resources of somebody who, now this person, cuddly, loving, but also fiercely protective. They want to see you happy, and they don't want to see anybody hurt you. And they're gonna, they've got your back, and they want to look out for you, but they also want to comfort you. This is somebody who would be able to help guide you through this process and to give you some advice on how they got through it. But again, neither of them can take your swords. Those are for you to carry, and it is, no matter what, going to be painful and difficult. But sometimes it's moments like these that cut away the illusion, that eliminate ambiguity and show us painfully clearly, the actual truth of the situation. And whether you feel it that way or not right now, that is a gift. But you do need to process that. Okay, so what crosses you, something that affects this situation for better or for worse, is the Ten of Spring. Tens are completion. Not only nines are completion. Tens are not only completion, but vaulting into the next phase that you're building off from the previously completed one. So like level 2, this is finishing level 1, getting ready to, in between level 1 and level 2, you've finished and you're starting all at the same time, back at the beginning of the circle. Spring is fire. So this has to do with something that had to do with like energy, action, motivation, passion, fiery things. This is not only a good thing, and I wouldn't say a bad thing, but this card does come along with a little side effect, I guess. I'll explain. Okay, so this is you've accomplished something that you wanted to accomplish. You've reached a goal that you intended and desired to reach. You put forth the motivation and you action, and you just kept on moving, got it done, did this, did that, and now you've arrived at the place where you got everything that you think you wanted. And you did want it, and you do want it. But now you're left shouldering a lot more responsibility than maybe you planned on, or maybe you were aware of it and it's okay with you, but it's sinking in, just like how heavy it can be sometimes. You do feel like you need to shoulder the full burden alone. And you may feel like you've been left holding the bag, I guess, in a way. But you still do have resources. And it's still okay to delegate. It's still okay to ask for help. Maybe your plans didn't go, things did not go according to plan. And now you feel maybe possibly the tiniest bit resentful that even though you've accomplished some things that you wanted to accomplish, you're shouldering all the responsibility on your own, and it can be a little heavy. But you've got support. So use it. Utilize people that might be able to help make the burden a little less easy to carry, or a little less difficult to carry. And that either could have been a result of the grief or sorrow here, that you're here, or this may have contributed to that one. I don't know which way it goes. Hopefully you do. I don't need to, as long as it makes sense to you. At the foundation of this issue, or something that gave rise to this right here, the Ace of Spring. So here we have a completion and beginning of a new cycle, and here we have a brand new beginning. So this kind of fits. So at the foundation of this issue is the beginning of whatever journey took you to here. The planting of the seed, the starting of the idea, the fertilizing of the plan, the goal, the setting your sights on what it was. Now, since it's spring, it would be something fiery. Something possibly not necessarily romance, but something that, like passionate, like expressive, creative, or just, involved with a lot of action, like a sport or something very movement oriented. So you had the idea, you planted the seed, and this is showing that, throughout the whole process, you've tended it, and now you ended up here with a lot of responsibility and some sorrow. But it all took root, or it all has its basis in that one idea or beginning or plan. In your recent past, as it pertains to this situation, we have the 7 of autumn. So autumn is material things like earth. This is like your basic needs, finances, job, family. So if we tell a story from ace to 10, the ace is the beginning, the 10 is the completion. Here at the 7, we've planted our seed. And this is a seed that has to do with giving us stability or self-reliance, something with our job or with our material possessions, those type of responsible things. You planted the seed, you watered it, you weeded it, you gave it its fertilizer, put it in the sun, did everything you needed to do. Now all you really need to do is wait. So you might feel a little impatient, and you might feel like there's something you should be doing, and you feel like you want to see results, but that's a lesson in life. Sometimes we do our part, and then we have to wait for the time is right to see the harvest. You'll plant your seed, and it's going to be on its own time that you see the fruit. So in your recent past, you had to wait for something. In your recent past, you put forth quite a bit of effort, and were left waiting for another thing to happen that would move that along. In your near future, as it pertains to this situation, we have the King of Autumn. Now, a lot of times court cards are people that we know or will know. If you don't recognize any person in your life in this card, then that would say it would be an aspect of yourself that you will soon come into contact with. This would be a man who is mature, not necessarily older, but presents as older. That Autumn, he is the king of all things related to the material realm, like we were just talking about with our job and our family, our home, and our stability. He's got all of that on lockdown. He knows how to make sure that the bills are paid and the household is maintained and the job is run efficiently and there's gas in the car and the kids are fed, all that stuff. He's got everything running smoothly, needs fully met, and he is able to accomplish goals and make achievements. He's able to exchange his labor for reward of like money and stuff like that. So if this is a person in your life, then you will soon come into contact with somebody who will be very useful toward helping you accomplish whatever this was started and that you were recently waiting on. Or help you find a sense of balance and stability, maybe help you learn how to be responsible. This might be somebody that teaches you money management, or somebody that has advice on investment, that type of thing. And again, this might be an aspect of you that you come in contact with. You may in the near future find yourself tapping into that responsible, mature, earthly king essence. You, in this situation, not yet. What crowns you, the best thing you have going for you as it pertains to this situation, cards keep flinging around, would be the Prince of Winter. That this would be the best thing. I guess the good thing about princes and princesses, and that doesn't mean that they're inferior or less than kings and queens, they're just at a different part of their journey. There are pros and there are cons. Some of the pros are that they still have the innocence. They haven't been jaded yet. They haven't been worn down. They still believe anything is possible. They still have the excitement. They still are on fire for what they want to do. Some of the cons, They haven't learned yet the appropriate ways to do things. They might make immature decisions, priorities not quite balanced, might be a little more impulsive. So the best thing that you have going for you, if this is not a person, again, it's an aspect of yourself, that is honest, and they feel that that's a gift, and it is, but they don't yet have the tact developed to understand that just because it's honest doesn't mean it needs to be said. They may come across as brash or hurtful, and they think that they are being noble and valiant. They don't understand, like I said, that just because it's true doesn't mean that it needs to be said. Okay, so how this benefits you in this situation is that you perhaps foolishly, I'm not saying it is foolishly, but perhaps foolishly, perhaps stubbornly, are definitely determined, and you're not afraid to cut to the chase. You're not afraid to be real about it. You're going to be very clear and cut and dry. Also, not letting your emotions rule you. And this might come across as that you're an asshole or that you're cocky, but you know that in this situation, your emotions are not what matters. It's the facts, it's the logic. And you are going to be possibly a little bit brashly, but just absolutely no appealing to your emotion, no pity party, no feel sorry for me. This is what it is. This is what happened. This is the facts, and I'm making my decision. And you might come across, like I said, like an asshole, but since this is the best thing that you have going for you, sometimes you've got to be a jerk. Like I always say, sometimes us women, we got to be a bitch. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe somebody's taking advantage of you. Maybe they're using you. Maybe they need that. Maybe they need that reality check, that wake-up call. Like, hey, step off. I'm not your whatever, I'm not doing this for you. And it might sting and it might hurt, but that might be just what they need. And because you are capable of delivering that very clear, very emotionless, but very accurate information, that's going to benefit you in what you're trying to do here. And I guess I was reading it as you, so that must be, I guess instinctively I'm feeling that that's an aspect of yourself. If it's not, though, then it would be a young man, most likely a young man who is contributing to the situation that has those characteristics. You, in this situation, 6 of Autumn. So, you've been at least with your resources, material resources, you're a generous and giving person without any tally keeping or record score of who owes you what. You've just been, helpful, not even just with money or things, but with giving your time, helping out, and again, this is Earth, so like helping build things would often be something like that, or helping to cook, helping feed people, or donating money or whatever. You've been there. You are at this point in time where you are in this situation. You are feeling appreciated. You may have had an unexpected somebody helping you out that you didn't necessarily ask for. Maybe somebody remembered a way that you helped them, and they see that you're struggling in some area, and they just suddenly pop up unexpectedly to show you the same kindness that you've showed to them. You've been there as a support for people when they were down and out, and where you are in this situation, you are very supported by the people that you've been there for. In your environment, something in your environment that affects this situation that is not you. The Queen of Autumn. There is likely a woman in your environment who is very responsible. She's probably an earth sign, like a Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn. Me, I don't really get, if you're an earth sign, I'm sorry, I'm not saying no. Earth signs to me can be kind of boring, but I am a Gemini. So this could be somebody who, but they are definitely focused. They're focused on their goals. They've got their priorities in order. They don't mess around. And this would be the woman, she would have you over for a dinner party. She wants to nurture you by taking care of your material needs. She'll ask if you've eaten yet. She'll don't give you some clothes if you're cold. She wants to take care of you by, like I said, attending to the earthly needs, like feeding you, making sure you're warm, making sure you're dry. She might fuss over you in the way that the mother would. It even could be your mother. But a motherly type of nurturing woman who is responsible and makes sensible decisions is in your environment affecting this situation. She's done well for herself. She's applied herself. She's done her hard work. She has given her best effort to accomplishing her responsibilities and completing them, and she has been richly rewarded for it. She earned it, though. She's earned everything that she has. And it could be that this is somebody who may be contributing because, she's got nice things. She's got something to show for it. Nothing was handed to her. But maybe she's one that you've helped and is going to help you in some way. Or not. I mean, that's just one possible interpretation. She is very generous, though. And so since I do see that you receiving generosity from someone else, that could tie in. But maybe not. All right, your hopes and or fears as it pertains to this situation. You have a lot of court cards. I have difficulty with them, so I'm doing the best I can. I apologize if it doesn't make much sense to you. I'm still struggling with court cards. But the King of Spring, this is your hope or fear. So you would hope, and if this is not a person, this is an aspect of yourself that you hope to connect with. You either hope to meet a man or to connect with the part of you as a man that is motivated. Again, this is fire. So you would like to connect with either yourself or someone who is energetic, who is motivated, who is creative, everything you would think with fire. This person is passionate. This person is moving all the time. They probably don't sleep very much, and they've always got a million ideas going in their mind. But unlike the prince, they do finish what they start. They do think out and plan how to distribute their energy so they don't get burned out, and they make sure to think about which projects they take on, that they are important and they will be seen through. But they do have an excess and abundance of energy. So you either hope for, and optimism. They're like the sun. They're this bright ray of sunshine. They believe, they could be a little cocky. I mean, that they might be a little cocky, but they really believe in themselves, and they might, that might just be what you need to get this off the ground. But again, that might be yourself. You might be hoping to find the motivation in yourself, hoping to find the energy, hoping to find the brightness, the optimism to be able to move your venture forward. I feel like this completion, in fact, I know that it isn't. So, like I said, you've completed one thing that ended up resulting in a lot of responsibilities that are difficult. And then what you'd like to begin, you had begun something that you were really excited about. You accomplished it, and you're still, it's not that you're not happy with it, but it resulted in some extra responsibilities. That's completed. I feel like this over here, this is a different thing. And you're juggling a lot right here. You're holding on to a lot. There's a lot of different parts of your life that you're trying to keep steady, and it's a lot already to take on. And that might be why this over here is kind of on pause right now, because you've only got so much energy. You've only got so much to give. And if this is consuming all of your spare energy and all of your spare attention, this kind of has to be put on the back burner. So there's something else that you would like to finish, something else that you would like to, a goal that you'd like to achieve, but you kind of feel like you're all tied up in all of this. So again, maybe if you try to get some help with this, you can go back to what you were trying to accomplish here. And maybe there will be somebody with some advice or some assistance toward that, and that would be, again, a stability or financial thing. That's like a material thing. Maybe you're looking for some type of security and you'd like to continue moving toward that, but you don't feel like you can, and you're maybe looking for the motivation or the optimism, just the optimism to just stay positive during kind of a difficult time. And we've got a difficulty here and a difficulty here, two different kinds of difficulties, but combined, could make each other a little bit harder than if they were on their own. So with the difficulty, you might be hoping to find some optimism or maybe some support from somebody who is optimistic. All right. And then the final card, this is your possible outcome if you continue on your current path. And I've given you the spiel before about how nothing's set in stone, blah, blah, blah. If you don't like the outcome, make different choices. Okay, but as you stand right now with the trajectory, I should say, that you're on, Princess of Winter. All these court cards, I'm telling you. So, your possible outcome is either that you come into contact with a feminine aspect of yourself. Feminine doesn't mean girly, it's just receptive. Masculine energy is outward, it's going toward the things you want, it's making them happen, it's action. Feminine energy is receiving, more passive. So you may come into contact with a passive, but I don't feel that. No, I don't feel that. I feel that this is a woman who is most likely a young woman, or she might present as young, meaning like that she's immature. Not necessarily a negative thing. She's one of those, young Democrat people that still think that they can save the world, one of those social justice warriors that's idealistic, and they really think that that they can create world peace. They really think I'm not saying that it's not possible that they can, but they might oversimplify things for better or for worse. They might just say, all right, well, this is the problem. I've got the solution. This is how we should, accomplish world peace. Why don't we do this? This is what we need to do. But she's very, very sure about what she wants and what's right and what's fair. And she will stop at nothing to make sure she's standing up for those she feels are not being treated fairly, that she will fight for the causes she believes in, but she might agonize over the injustices suffered by other people. She might take on too much. She might associate herself with all of the pain of the people who've been done wrong. And she, again, just like our prince over here, she might be a little too blunt sometimes. She hasn't yet learned the grace with communicating in a socially acceptable way, I guess I could say, but she is firm. She also makes her decisions based in logic and facts. She's not ruled by her emotions. Don't mistake her, though, for emotionless. She might come across as a little bit of a bitch, but she's not. She's just very sure of what she thinks and what's fair and what's right, and that is what guides her actions. And so your outcome is that this woman will impact your situation. This girl, this person, will impact your situation in some way. She's going to have very certain opinions about what you should do and how you should do it, and what the right thing is. Maybe what you owe somebody or what they owe you, or how you should be punished or how you should be rewarded. She is going to give you that jolt, that reality check. She is going to say something that you need to hear. She's going to bring you knowledge and information